October 29th. We're at Poinsett State Park, where they have recently paved the road in, which is a huge improvement. It was pretty rough coming in, but they paved it. Today we're going to try to do the high knot or the low knot?
High knot.
The high knot. There's a high knot and a low knot. Last time we were here, the newly renovated Cochina Trail. Look at the size of that pine tree right there. That is a big old pine.
Yep.
I don't think I could get my arms around it. But we did the Cochina Trail, which had been recently fixed. The boardwalk and everything over the swamp area had recently been fixed. This time we're going to do the high knot. Come to Poinsett to hike sometimes because it is very close to home, and it has a lot of changes in elevation, which we don't get a lot on other trails. Okay, so we intersected the Cochina, which is the trail that we did last time. This time we're going to take the knot. Last time we went down that direction on the Cochina, down into that valley down there. And this time we're going to go this way. And there are a large number of walnuts. Not black walnuts like we were encountering last week, but yeah, English walnuts. There's a large number of those trees here, and they have dropped nuts all over the trail. There's one right there. I don't know if the camera is seeing that, but there's one right there, and there's, I mean, tons of them all over. So there's a whole bunch of them right there. Yeah. You have to be careful that you don't step on them, because they'll roll, take you right off your feet, and hopefully none of them bop you in the head, because that would hurt. Okay, so now we have a choice of the high knot and the low knot. And I think today we're going to do the high knot. So we're going to go to the right. And look at all this Spanish moss. There's just tons of it in here on these trees. Old man's beard. Spanish moss, there's a ton of it in here, and it's very pretty. I know I've said it on other videos, but in case you're only catching this one, it looks like it would be a great fire tinder, but it is not. It is a succulent plant. It's moist, and if you crinkle it, it's got moisture in it. It will not burn. Now, if you happen to catch some that's like this, that's dead and dried, there's some live in front of it here, but that stuff that's dead and dried, that will burn. But this stuff, it will not take fire. It's just, it's succulent. It sucks moisture out of the air somehow. So anyway, this is what we're doing today. We're only filming the interesting parts today, I'm not going to have the camera rolling the entire time. So anytime we encounter something interesting, we'll flip the camera on today. So number one, it's going to save on battery. Number two, it's going to save on disk space. And number three, which is probably the most important part, is it's going to save me having to, well, walk through a spider web. And I almost walked through another one right there. Look at that one. It's going to, most importantly, it's going to save me sitting through a couple of hours worth of video and somebody talking incessantly, which is me, to edit it down to, you know, a 10 or 15 minute video. So anyway, we'll be doing that today, and we'll see if anything interesting happens. So we're trying something a little new today. well, new to us. I have a tendency to get dry throat, and you have a tendency to get coughing and itchy throat. So we brought a bunch of, they're like Cleary's old-fashioned hard candies. They're Clegg's old-fashioned candies, something like that. But we bought the Horehound flavor, and Horehound is a tea that they steep, and they put the flavoring and the stuff into these candies, and Horehound is supposed to be good for your throat. So we just stopped and grabbed a couple, and we're trying them out. We'll see how it goes. They're very tasty. So we're approaching some sort of structures, and there's some signs. So it says, J. Skinner, Jacob was a good man when cold steel was not at hand. Honed his skills fighting man to man. Steel fit in hand, blade ready for command. Be warned if you hear grinding steel. Click down, lower the gear, steer away from here. So apparently this was Jacob's land, Jacob Skinner. And he was a blacksmith. He made swords. And apparently he was very good at fighting with them. So I wonder if this was...
Apparently also he's a ghost.
Yeah, he's a ghost. So I don't know if this was his forge. This looks like, if you look through the, I'm looking through the cracks in here, there's nothing but a bunch of 55-gallon drums and an old tire in there. So this might have been his forge in here. It doesn't look like it because I don't see a chimney where a forge would have sat. So maybe a corn crib. So there's a sign that says warning, steep drop. So here's another little shack of some sort. Looks like there was something there. Interesting. So apparently this must have been some sort of farmstead or something back in the day. And then the trail heads off that way. So away we go. So I think this is Fat Lighter, this whole thing. This Fat Lighter. I could be wrong. That's not. Some of it's rotten. Let's see. Oh, that is for sure down there. Yeah, so that piece down there, that's Fat Lighter. Oop. Stupid rag. That's Fat Lighter down there. Yeah, this is a pine tree that at some point fell over in the wind or whatever. But what happens is the tree dies abruptly, and then the root or the stump collects, all the sap collects in it, and it hardens into turpentine, and that turpentine is extremely flammable even when wet. You've probably heard of Fat Lighter or seen Fat Lighter in the store for sale, and here's where it comes from. It's just a stump of an old pine tree. So, pretty cool. Monkey fist.
We're going to have to look that one up.
I have no idea.
I don't know. There's a mound up there.
I don't know.
We'll have to figure that out.
Oh yeah, everybody should do this. Yeah, oh, we're very big deer hounds. I've been a deer hound my whole life. I've spent my whole life camping and hunting and fishing, and I've always been a deer hound. Yeah. So look at that right there. You know what that is?
Fat lighter?
That's a fat lighter. It literally grows on trees around here.
They sell it at the grocery store.
And they sell it in the grocery store. We were saying we're kind of gear hounds.
So anybody could do this. You don't have to have, you know,
Oh no!
$200 pass.
No, 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 not at all.
I recommend hiking poles because you buy those at Walmart.
Well, my trekking poles I bought off of Amazon. They're Trail Buddy hiking poles, and I've probably got, I don't know, a couple thousand miles on them, and they've never given me an ounce of trouble, and they are cheap and affordable.
REI flashes.
Yeah, you have the Flash trekking poles, which are a little more expensive than mine, but they're still, you know, very good piece of equipment. And you know, we hike with a lot of times our backpacking packs. So I've got a 55 liter and you're carrying a 60 liter, but you know, nothing says you don't go to Walmart and get, you know, a $10 Jan Sport backpack and put a small little first aid kit in it and a bottle of water, huh? Yep, a space blanket, some snacks, a bottle of water in your $10 JanSport backpack, and you get out here on the trail. I do recommend that, however, that you spend all of your money on shoes and socks. Those are the most important pieces, shoes and socks. Spend all of your money getting a good pair of shoes and good socks.
No Crocs.
Yes, no Crocs, no flip-flops, none of that stuff. I personally recommend Keen hiker shoes and darn tough socks. If you're able to shop at the REI in the garage, which is the returned equipment, you can also find very good values in there. I found a pair of Keen 3s. They were brand new, hiked one time, and one of the lugs had popped loose from the sole a little bit, and I stuck, you know, 2 cents worth of Gorilla Glue on it, glued it back down, and have a couple 100 miles on them, and they're good shoes. They haven't given me a bit of trouble. So, you know, they had a little bit of a defect on them and somebody turned them in, so I got a pair of shoes half price. So anyway, long story short, at this point, you know, get out of here. The worst that could happen is you turn into bear poop.
Right.
Decided to jump off the Knot Trail. Actually, the Knot Trail is the name of the trail. It's a 5-mile loop. It divides from where we came up to that last sign by those picnic benches, or those sitting benches. It divides from there back to where we got on the high knot into the high and low knot. But it is the knot loop all the way around. Right back there, I don't know if the camera can see it, but the knot continues that way, which is actually the Palmetto Trail, going back that direction. And then this is the bowline, which the bowline goes downhill and connects to, I think, the Laurel Trail, and then eventually the Coquina Trail, which will take us back to the parking area, which will give us about a 4.5 mile loop, a 4.5 mile loop. So we've decided to cut off onto the bowline and are now descending into the swamp and the lake area off the hill, which is why we like to come to Poinsett, because it has elevation changes. If you caught our last trail we did on the Palmetto Trail, which the Peak to Prosperity Passage is basically flat. This, if the camera can see it, you know, we're going to end up way down there, a couple 100 feet down into the swamp and by the lake. So Poinsett has some elevation change, which is good practice for us going into the mountains. Descended quite a ways. We're almost down here to the swamp. And see, here's the Laurel Trail, which is what I thought. It's been a while since we've been here. The trail we just came off of was the Bowline. And we're now on the Laurel Trail. And this is going to take us back to, I believe, the Coquina. And then we can take the Coquina in. Down on the Laurel Trail. And I tell you, we were going to come off the mountain down to the swamps by the pond. And you can see right over there is a creek. Sandy bottom, the water's clear, flowing over the top of it. So you might not be able to see the water, but you can see that white strip through there. That's the sandy bottom on the creek. And up here, we're going to filter some water because my leader is almost gone. And I'm going to go ahead and filter some water. All right, so like I said, I carry my backpacking stuff, a CNOC 2-liter dirty water bladder and a Sawyer Mini. But for day hikes, I carry a 1-liter Ketadine Be-Free. So I'm gonna unhorse here and filter some water. There's my pack that I'm carrying today. It's my Hyperlight Mountain Gear Unbound 55-liter. About, I don't know, 15 pounds in there, maybe. I'm gonna grab my Ketadine. I got about half a liter. It's nice and cold. All right. There we go, fresh liter of water. So we're still on the Laurel Trail. You can see down there is the swamp area. And I tell you, it's significantly cooler down here next to the water than it was up on top of the hill that way on the high knot. Here's where the Laurel and the Coquina meet. The Coquina comes down from up there, down these stairs. And you'll see the Coquina goes that way. Laurel goes that way. We came from Laurel. So we're gonna take the Coquina across the boardwalk and back to the parking area. Oh, we're right back by the pond. There's the pond in there, and we'll shortly be back in the parking area. We're probably a quarter mile, maybe a little more than a quarter mile from the parking area. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. So get out in nature. The worst thing that could happen is you become bear poop. And we'll catch you on the next one.